the moment. Come on and seize the moment. Come on, it's yours now, own it. Come on, it's yours now, own it. But I'm coming home, I'm coming home. We may have seen the world, but there's no place like home. So go tell everyone we're coming home, we're coming home. Under a big blue sky, over an ocean wide. Hey, go tell everyone we're coming home, we're coming home. We're coming home, we're coming home.
There's £60,000 on offer this afternoon. It is £50,000 to the champion. That is the reigning champion, Jamie Hughes, who's aiming to become the first back-to-back winner at FishOMania. The man in his way is the favourite, Andy Power, who's alongside him on the bank. He finished second last year. There is the self-proclaimed People's Champion, Nathan Watson, who won it back in 2002. And there is the next generation, Oliver Scotthorne, whose dad, Alan, is 5 times world champion. If you're into your angling, there is nothing bigger than FishOMania. Thousands of anglers have tried to get here around the lakes in South Yorkshire today. Only 24 have made it. 2 of them are going to be taking home money this afternoon. It's a carnival of fishing. It's our 25th year, and for most of that quarter of a century, we've had the wisdom of Keith Arthur alongside us. You tell us every year, but it's an absolute carnival, a festival of fishing, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, we've got 24 brilliant anglers around the lake. The weather probably couldn't be better for fishing. We've lost the sun at the moment. We've got a nice bit of cloud. There's a lovely ripple. There's lots of fish moving around. It's spot on for it to be a great match.
We have Steve Cook with us, who's been in 8 finals, winning it back in 2002. Steve, what does it mean to an angler to be out there and for you not to be out there and with us for 5.5 hours?
If I could change being here to being sat with one of them guys, I would. That's a really important place to be. It's a World Cup of fishing. That's the end of it, really. There's nowhere else you'd want to be.
It is a who's who as well, isn't it, Keith?
Yeah, there's some top anglers, some new names, there's some good youngsters come through this year. It's always encouraging to see more young people coming in, but we've got some old stagers that know their way around, and of course right in the middle of those there's people like Jamie Hughes. I mean, what more experience you want than 3 times winner, 8 times finalist? Unbelievable.
Well, there have been 24 previous years of FishOMania. It started back in 1994 when Ian Turner won it, and then Matt Hall in 2003 became the first man to be prepared to win it twice. We've had different venues over the years. Matt Hall won it again in 2009, but the man who's dominated in recent years is Jamie Hughes. First time, 2013. Andy May, you're going to hear from in a moment, is with us as our expert today. Jamie Hughes is the reigning champion and £50,000 richer last year. Right, we're going to have a weigh-in every half an hour. The anglers' nerves are jangling, the eyes of the world are cast upon Hayfield Lakes in Yorkshire. Let's make it official and join our master of ceremonies for the afternoon, Simon Hosanna.
Welcome to Hayfield Lakes for FishOMania 25, where our anglers are competing for £50,000 prize money and the title of FishOMania champion. But you know what? Let's get it underway. It's time for the all-in.
Well, that is the noise these anglers have been waiting to hear all spring and all summer. 24 heats around the UK, and this year in Belgium and in Germany as well. It's become a truly international event. They've come from far and wide. We have former world champions joining us today on the bankside. We have rookies, some guys that put in just once and actually got here. Well, one of the most important elements, one of course is getting here. Second is where you are pegged on the lake during the course of the afternoon. There are 24 pegs which are around the lake from 1 to 24. There are elements there. Sometimes it's good to have a bit of shade. Sometimes it's good to be away from the crowd as well. These are the 24 anglers this afternoon. Keith, we're at a new venue this year. Give us the significance of the pegs and where the guys have been drawn.
We're back to an old venue, but of course this bank over here, this side right here, this bank has never been pegged before, so that's going to be really interesting because nobody knows. It's pegged in open matches, but it's never been in Fisho. So that's going to be really interesting because a lot of the matches, the open matches, are won around about where Jamie Hughes is. Now, Jamie is down in this little bit. Where is Jamie? Jamie's around here, I think, isn't it? So yeah, that little bit there, that's where there's going to be a lot of fish caught. One of the interesting features is this. Now there, you can see the fountain. Now that's there to be an aerator. And with the high temperatures we've had lately, high water temperatures, fish need oxygen. So there's going to be some fish homing in on there. So look out for maybe 13 or 14 having a go there. The wind has changed today, but not how Nathan wanted it. Nathan really wanted the wind to be blowing up towards peg 12, up here. But it isn't. The wind is actually blowing off his back. So it's blowing northwesterly, it's going slightly north, so it's blowing to, in fact, it's blowing towards where we are, Rob, and we're down here somewhere.
Describe it as a light breeze.
It is a gentle breeze.
But significant if you're an angler out
It's
there.
putting a ripple on. This lake is big enough to get a ripple, and a ripple makes a huge difference.
Let's work our way around the lake now. Have a shake around the lake. We've got 4 reporters taking care of the anglers this afternoon. The first man we're going to hear from is FishOMania rookie Michael Bridge.
Good afternoon, Rob. I'm loving the tan here, and it's sweltering here as well. Everybody, are you ready? Yay! Welcome to Peg 1 to 6. Now, it's been Brexit, Brexit, Brexit all week, isn't it? I think it's time for a bit of Remain. Dave Remain! Oh, he started already. Right, so Dave is right underway here. Dave is ready to go. Dave is the first angler to net his place to this year's FishOMania Grand Final when he won in March. Now over there is Germany's Marcus Biller. Marcus usually fishes out in Belgium and the Netherlands. Well, taken away from the fishing, there's some good news. Marcus has just got engaged, everyone. And you can see over there, this bankside runner there clapping. That's not his name. Basically, those new to FishOMania and fishing here, it's a bit like a caddy in golf. He's there to offer advice, but he cannot get involved. Let's go over here. It's a bit of a zigzaggy going around here now because we don't want to tread on anyone. And over here is Andrew Bailey. Where is Andrew? There he is, Andrew Bailey here. It's very quiet here at the moment. He's from Hernbrook Fisheries, 20 minutes before the start of his qualifier, and he won it to get into these finals. So very quiet here. You all right, everyone? All right? Yeah? You all right? Enjoying yourself? Right, over to here now. Sean Cook.
Come on, Dad.
You all right?
Yeah.
And he won the Tunnel Barn Farm to book his place in the finals. He made his FishOMania debut in 2014 when he finished 9th, 33 to 1. Just going to walk over here now. Sorry, I'm being quiet because it is underway. And there's cheering already going on. Steve Openshaw is here now. Now, Steve doesn't like the sun, so he's got his hat on. He's going long today, Steve, and he's already underway. And he said he loves his peg in peg 5. You all right, everyone? Yeah. Good. Now, peg 6. Last but certainly not least, what are you laughing at? Is Steve Ford. Afternoon, Steve. Now, Steve's not completely happy with his peg. I'll tell you why. Look at that scarecrow over there. He's staring right at you, Steve, the scarecrow. He's giving him a wave. Right, scarecrow, don't put him off. All right? Well, that's the first 6 pegs here. I cannot wait to get a tan, Rob. I'm going to beat your tan today by the end of the day.
Long way to go. Thank you very much, Michael. He's clearly not nervous as you're making his FishOMania. I think he'll be okay, and he's getting the words out and getting to know the fans on there. Well, during the course of the afternoon, we're going to be going to the water's edge. We have 4 reporters, as I said. It's a welcome back to the screens of Sky Sports for new mum, Jenna Brooks.
Yes, thank you very much, Rob. Now, welcome to my home for the next 5.5 hours. I am on pegs 7 to 12 this year. So starting on peg 7 is our youngest qualifier. He's just 21 years of age, Pete Black. He couldn't be happier with his peg position today. In fact, he went as far as saying that he predicts that he will be taking home the £50,000 prize money. Now, on peg 8 is a name that you might be familiar with, Oliver Scott Horn. Now, Oliver is from a huge fishing family. In fact, Alan Scott Horn, his father, is the only angler to have ever been crowned world champion 5 times. So Ollie has some pressure on him today. In fact, his stepmother, Sandra, is across the lake fishing in the ladies' match today. So we'll be keeping a close eye on both Sandra and Ollie. Now, Richie Hull is on peg 9, and I spoke to Richie yesterday, and Rob, as you said, being a new mum, he actually made me tear up, because when I asked him what he would do with his £50,000 prize money, without a moment's hesitation, he said that he would take his 6-year-old daughter, Leah, to Disneyland. So best of luck to not just Richie, but to Leah as well. Now, Scott Gollings is on peg 10, and yesterday Scott was pretty disappointed with his peg position. Today, however, he turned up to Hayfield Lakes with a huge smile on his face. He is tipping himself as the favourite to be crowned FishOMania Champion 2018. Now, I am very carefully going to climb over his pole here today. As you can see, there are a lot of obstacles on our peg bank today. So moving on to peg 11 is Andy Darg. Andy has got 50 years of fishing experience behind him, but he counts FishOMania 2018 as his biggest achievement to date. It is, of course, his first FishOMania final. The same cannot be said for peg 12. Nathan Watson, he's fishing in his 7th FishOMania final. He actually won it right here at Hayfield back in 2002. I've been told by a number of people to keep a close eye on Nathan. However, he did tell me that he didn't get a wink of sleep last night, and it wasn't because of the nerves. He has also started with a little bit of bad luck. When he opened his rod bag this morning, he found that 5 of his top kits were broken. He's not exactly sure how it happened, whether he may have stood on them or what, but he luckily has enough backup equipment to get him through today. But Rob, my pegs 7 to 12, I'll be keeping a close eye on them all day long.
Keith, not what you want to see, that is it, when you open your boxes in the morning and you see your rods in half like that.
There's a few quid there as well, but it is a disaster because you're used to all the kits, the elastics are all properly set, and it must, mind you, nothing phases Nathan. I mean, what am I worried about with Nathan? He just carries on and does it.
I think actually his supporters were at his peg this morning before Nathan was arriving there. He certainly mops up the atmosphere of FishOMania, the self-proclaimed people's champion. I believe this is down on peg 15. It's Christophe de Butter, who won in Snakeland. Well, we have met 2 of the reporters so far this afternoon. As you can see, we've chosen them for their gymnastic and athletic ability. The latest athlete you're going to meet is a fine specimen, Ben Ransom.
I might have to do some hurdles in a minute, Rob. Thank you very much. I thought I'd start by giving you a sense of where we are here on the other side of the lake. So if you look straight across from where we are now, you can probably see that's peg number 1 over on that side where we started, and then all the way along past the other side of the island, right up to where we were with Jenna a moment ago, peg number 12 at the far end. So we're down on this side of the lake, and I suppose the thing to notice here is the aerator that's just causing this nice ripple across the surface of the water. Now, that's something that all the anglers on this side were hoping would stay on, because it just gives them a little bit more of a chance, they believe. And we've got on peg number 13, Franek Staniushko, perhaps unlucky for some, number 13, but not for him. Omens might be good. How about this? When he qualified, he won his qualifier by just 1 ounce. That's tight, so he thinks perhaps his luck might be in. Next to him, number 14, Adam Major. He's caught one already today, come all the way up from Norwich. Self-proclaimed grumpiest competitor in the field, Adam. So if he starts well, we may well see that we'll get a smile out of him before the day is out. And this is the chap that we've already mentioned, Christophe de Butter from Belgium. He has been on fire already. This is fish number 6. We can probably see it coming in right now. It's a fair old size as well. He's already caught the one we saw. Absolutely fantastic weight. I mean, look at the size of that, straight in the net. That's fish number 5 already for Christophe de Butter from Belgium. He came over on Sunday, so he's been practicing on this side of the lake, Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. He was bemoaning Belgium's loss in the football in the World Cup semi-final on Tuesday. Well, he's certainly making up for it. But we have to go off-road a bit now, so follow me up on the bank. You can see the terrain on this side is very different from the other side of the lake. We've got this big bank, we've got the shade of the trees, which may well be helping the competitors. Staying out the sun, guys, over this side. How are we feeling? Terrible. Come on, it's not that bad, is it? Good old Yorkshire wit. So step over the poles. So Christophe's down there. Then we've got peg number 16, Dan Squire. He's come up from Somerset to fish up here today. He's already told me if he wins the £50,000 prize, it's going on the deposit for a new house. So potentially it could be a life-changing day for Dan and his bank runner, full of concentration. You can feel, can't you? It's much cooler over this side. A nice shade and a bit of a gap here between the pegs as we go up to peg number 17. Russ Berryman here. So a bit of a gap just helps Russ maybe come up from Sutton in Surrey. Russ just starting short there. The big winner if Russ wins, I might add, actually. Wife Karen, there she is in the white. How are you feeling, Karen? She stands to win perhaps a new car if Russ manages to land the prize. Fingers crossed there. And we'll go off-road again. If you just follow me through the final peg on my side of the lake over here. Adam Richards here. A lot more experience perhaps than some of the other competitors on this side. This is 4th FishOMania. Best place finish of 4th as well so far. So he's looking to go a little bit better. He told me his tactics would be to start in short here in the shade, and so far that's what he's done. We'll see how he gets on.
Great. Well, we saw there that one of the early favourites is Christophe de Busse, who we'll talk about him in a second. He's got off to an absolute flyer. But so has one of the first-timers in FishOMania, Oliver Scott. Dad Alan, 5-times world champion. Stepmom Sandra's taking part in the women's event today. He's a confident young man. You can see there why, can't you, Keith?
Absolutely. It's in his genes, isn't it? It's got to be. You know, when you're brought up next to your dad, I mean, he wasn't interested in fishing for quite a while, but when he got into it, he kicked off properly.
Well, he's a gold and a silver medalist with England youth. This is the first time this afternoon that we have seen Steve Ford, I believe that is. Steve on peg 6.
And that's one of the first fish we've seen that's not on the float as well. He's caught that on the bomb. You can see the square weight just hanging off his line there. Everybody else has caught. Well, Christoph's fishing on the bottom. It looked like Oliver caught his fish shallow. Yeah. And that fish has been caught on the bottom. So there are fish everywhere.
What we want to do, we've come here to see big fish being caught this afternoon. A TV spectacle, don't we? And already we're seeing plenty of big ones.
Yeah. It's playing. They come here to play with us today, and today's going to be a really cracking match. There's some big weights today. Everybody's catching.
Well, this is live down to peg 7. Pete Black, who's only been match fishing for 6 years. He's the youngest competitor, 21 years of age, and he's fishing like a veteran. Well, we've heard from 3 of our reporters during the course of the afternoon. A lot of the action is expected to be on pegs 19 to 24, and we have stationed at Tim Thornton down there.
Yeah, and already some big fish have been caught on this side of the lake. Let's start with peg 19, then Jason Brown. He's one of the outsiders, a wood machinist. He's been doing that job for 31 years. He's got all his family with him here today. He says they're more nervous than he is. Alongside him is Dale Whelan. Now, he's the railway inspector. His banks runner also works with him on the railways. He loves his holidays, does Dale. So if he wins today, he's going to book himself a trip to Japan. Now, I'm going to head up the banking. It's a bit like an obstacle course around here. But as you can see, lots of fans, because we've got the big hitters here. Jamie Hughes and also Andy Power. Now, Jamie, he wasn't happy with his draw yesterday, but he had a walk around the lake this morning and decided that he was happy. And he says, quite simply, it's game on, and he started very well. And alongside him, Andy Power, who's described by his bank runner as one of the quiet men in the field. He'll be hoping that he has plenty to shout about later. I'll just step over that and I'll head down here. It is a little bit of an obstacle course, this, because interesting on the end, we've got Ryan Lidgard. Now, Ryan, he was one of the final qualifiers for this. If he hadn't qualified, he would have been the bank runner for Dave Shires, who's on peg 24. He's made a good start, Ryan, as well. He's already got a big fish in his net. And I mentioned Dave on peg 24. He's the very final one. He gave up football for fishing. He's a massive Leeds United fan, also likes his Super League as well, and follows the Leeds Rhinos. But a real buzz around here as we go through the final 6 pegs, 1 to 24 done now. Let's get back to the studio.
Well, thank you, Tim. You don't want to see our faces. What you want to see is fish being caught out there. This is Steve Openshaw from the Moreton on the Wirral, who's a fishery manager. But I'm going to go to his fishery when I get back home. He lives a couple of miles away from me, supported today by his wife Jan behind him, and son Dan is here today. He's been fishing for 50 years, but this is the first time that he has been in the FishOMania final. And what he was fearing was not catching anything during the course of the afternoon. You can see there are a few nerves there in getting the fish out of the net. Go on, you can do it. It's not like the whole country's watching you there, Steve. Yep, in the bag. We'll be heading to our first weigh-in very shortly. We have them every 30 minutes. Weigh-in number 1 is coming next. It's a special afternoon. If you're just tuning in for the first time, the way that it pans out here is that the anglers fish for 5 hours from 7 minutes past 12 until 7 minutes past 5. And what they do, every 30 minutes, they hear this noise which ricochets around the lake, and it sounds something a little bit like this. Right, see what we did? And then that means now that the bank runners are going to get the fish, they're going to take them to a weighing machine. I'm giving an idiot's guide here. We've got the experts, I'm playing the idiot for those that have never seen it before. And then come the end of the day, whoever's caught the most fish over the 5 hours takes home £50,000. Simple.
Yeah, the heaviest accumulated weight. And it is something, the weighing has become so much more technical. We now use a lot of protection for the fish. There's weigh-in mats. Everything's done really carefully now.
These guys have been in training as well, and Michael Bridge will be down there to let us know exactly how Steve Ford is doing on peg 6.
Well, Steve Ford was 33 to 1, but Keith did say to us last night he did fancy Steve as an each way bet, and we're getting the weigh in here. If you stay with us here, sir. That's the weight here.
Steve Ford, peg 6, 10 kilo 300.
10 kilo 300. What a great start!
Yeah, well, I think this may be the early leader. Christophe de Busse, we've seen him pulling out not 2 but 3 rather large fish. So bank runner Eric is going to whip this out. Let's just see what he has got in the net. I know it's big. He's struggling to carry it. It's that heavy. So let's see what we've got here. Tipping it up now. Let's see what comes out. I've got murmurs and gasps from around me I can hear. Hang on. Just struggling to get them all out. It's been such a successful start for Christophe. Remember, he's come all the way from Belgium.
Not used to catching so many.
Look at the size of that in there. So what have we got then, gents?
$9 kilo 950.
9 kilo 950 for Christophe de Busse, and look at the size of some of that in there. Great start for the Belgian. Round of applause, come on everyone, there we go. We'll throw to Tim Thornton.
Yeah, here we are with the favourite. Jamie Hughes has made a good start. Craig, his runner, is reeling in the net now, and we're going to bring it over and weigh it. You might be able to see he's got a really big one in there, which is jumping around quite a lot. I'm getting splashed. In it goes, and Mark is going to stick it on the scales and weigh it for us. Been quite a lot of activity around this side of the lake in this first 30 minutes. Here we go.
3 kilos 900 grams.
So there you go, a big fish for the favourite to start off with.
Well, some great catches already in the opening half an hour. This is down peg 22. Andy Power, 5 to 1, second favourite at the start of the day. UK champion twice. We are seeing some big fish. Keith, what are we expecting every half? It's going to be different this year. It's going to be a big weight, cumulative weight at the end of the day.
So many of people have caught fish on different methods and different styles. And what you try and do as an angler is plan your match. So you don't want to go to your last thing first, if you know what I mean. You don't want to go to your banker first. You want to fill the gaps and prime one spot. And obviously lots of people have got different ideas about what should be their banker.
What we're basically saying is what you should do is set your table. Have your starter, have your main course, and leave your pudding till end. And that's when you want to be killing the match then in the last hours.
This is live to peg 7. Pete Black from Kings Norton near Birmingham, who lives fishing. Day to day he works as an assistant in a tackle shop. He's got a vested interest actually in his pal Richie Hull. They've decided today that they're going to share some of the winnings if either of them win it, which has happened before. And he is the baby as well. Tells me that when he celebrates only with his favourite drink, lemonade.
Good lad.
Well, we have our first leaderboard at FishOMania 25, and this is how it is panning out. Steve Ford has a narrow lead over our Belgian competitor Christophe de Bussa. Andy Power, who finished second last year, is in third place. Great start as well for Pete Black down there on peg 7. Dave Shires was on the unfancied peg 5, has had a decent start as well, and then Jamie Hughes and Dale Whelan peg number 6 and 7. Ryan Leigard also out on the periphery of the lake. We have 24 competitors, of course, so these are the guys that are all happy because they've got something in the bag so far. Even Adam Major, Richie Hull, Steve Openshaw as well, he's quite fancied by a lot of people here today. We saw big fish for Oliver Scott-Horn. Those are the 16 who have caught. And this is the bad news so far for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the bottom. It's going to be a long, sunny afternoon, though, here in South Yorkshire. A lot of fishing, 5 hours of continuous fishing at Hayfield Lake. Well, I told you that things will change. This is Steve Openshaw down there on peg 5, spanner to his friends, fishing for 50 years and angling with a smile on his face as well. It takes gymnastics to do that, doesn't it? It's not easy for a 57-year-old man.
That's what he does, though. He manages the fishery, he fishes a lot of matches, and he's a very, very successful angler. And it's funny, you know, although you say he's a bit gymnastic, it's efficiency of movement. You try and keep everything as minimal as possible, but you have to react to what the fish do. You see, when a fish goes down, you hold the pole of the rod low, and that, as I mentioned, they pull against you. That will bring them up to the surface. When you see them, you've got a chance of doing that, the scooping with the net stand.
Yeah, and that's, if you look at where his hand position is on his top kit, it's halfway down his top kit to give you a short lifting angle. If you're lifting really high, the fish tend to go really deep, so it makes it really difficult to get them up, to get them into the net really quickly. So fishing with a short top kit position with your hand helps you to land them a lot quicker.
There's also, you'll see some elastic dangling down. Now, anglers these days use things called puller kits, so they've got elastic going through their pole, and with a puller kit you can use lighter elastic, because what you do to bring the fish in, it's almost like using a rod and reel. You shorten the length of the elastic by pulling out the bottom of your top kit. You can see where his hand is there, his right hand is just grasping it. And that's really made a difference to landing and playing a fish.
Massive amount of difference.
A few years ago, we put the heart monitors on the anglers, didn't we, to measure their heart rate, and it comes down to nerves and things like that. Normally, a professional athlete, when they're warming up for a Premier League game, their heartbeat is about 140. Some of these guys, their heartbeat is like 150, 160 at moments like that.
It's when the fish dive down, when, like Cookie was saying, you get them up to the top and they do that dive, that's when your heart rate goes up.
Yeah.
This is Oliver Scott-Horn, junior champion of FishOMania 2005 and 2006. As we say, is from a famous fishing family. Sandra Scott-Horn is taking place in the ladies' match, which is on the adjacent lake. Let's find out more about it from Hannah Wilkes.
Well, it promises to be a very interesting competition in the ladies' FishOMania event. There are 13 FishOMania ladies titles between the 6 anglers taking part today. 5 of these ladies are England internationals, and the 6th is Sandra Scott-Horn, who of course retired from international duty with 2 world championships, and she's got 4 ladies FishOMania titles. So plenty of talent on show on this part of the bank. Abby Kendall is the only angler in the ladies competition to have not won a FishOMania title, but she's on peg number 1, and at the draw this morning the feeling was very much that 1 or 2 was where you want to be, and Abby early on caught a big fish, as did Samantha Sim, who is on peg number 2. Samantha as well is a 4-time FishOMania champion, and on peg number 3 we've got Emma Pickering, a former world champion, 3-time ladies FishOMania winner, and she caught a couple of good sized fish in quick succession a little earlier on. Then on peg 4 we've got Sandra Scott-Horn herself, ably assisted today by husband Alan, who is of course a 5-time world champion. They'll also be keeping an eye on the grand final event, as Oliver Scott-Horn is of course in action. Then on peg number 5 we've got Julie Abbott. Now, she actually fished the same peg in a festival back in May and didn't find it to be all that good, but she's already got a decent sized fish. And Kaylee Smith, our defending ladies champion, is on 6th. You can see she's using a really long rod to get far out into the lake, because that's not where she wanted to be, but she caught the first fish of the ladies' competition. According to the stewards, it looked to be about 7 to 8 pounds. Worth pointing out that in the ladies and the juniors competition, they don't have a weigh-in until the very end. So it's all to play for. They don't know what each other are going to be doing. Just got to keep an eye out and rely on those bank runners. And talking of the juniors, on the other side of the bank, they got underway just half an hour before the ladies. Joshua Paling and Daniel Slack got a couple in their bags early on. So we'll head over there shortly and see how they're all doing.
Thank you, Hannah. As I said, it's a massive event. It is 24 men who are around the lake in the main event this year. We have a juniors event, we have a ladies event as well. It's the 6 best juniors over the last year, the 6 best ladies of the last year. But Keith, women have been in the final before. We do have a decent kind of competitive edge from the ladies.
FishOMania is a completely open event. Anyone over the age of 16 can enter. Under 16s can't, because there's a betting element to it.
Well, we mentioned the spread of ages this afternoon. In the main event, they go from 21, I think, to 57. We do have a junior event, and looking after them is the youthful-looking Hannah Wilkes.
Well, the juniors match is about halfway through now. They fished for 4 hours rather than 5, and this part of the lake has been relatively quiet. Down on peg 6, Will Evans has been really struggling. He's only had the 1 so far. Next to him on 5, Miles Fletcher has managed to catch 3, with his bank runner telling me that he reckons there's about 16 pounds in the bag. But on 4, Daniel Slack looks to be well in the lead. He's doing really well. He's got 4 carps so far, plus some skimmers. And Daniel's competed here. This is his 4th time in the junior match. He's previously finished 3rd and 2nd, so really hoping that he can go better. Next to Daniel, Kieran Charnock really struggling, although we did just see him catch a carp, so hopefully his luck is beginning to turn. Then on peg number 2, our youngest angler, Josh Paling. He's doing all right so far. He's caught 4 carps, and then on number 1, we've got Zach Warby-Smith, who's caught just the 2, but they were 2 big ones. So with us not having a weigh-in in the junior competition till the end of the match, it's hard to know exactly where that will put him, but hopefully a couple of big ones will help him compete with Daniel Slack. And helping Zach today is Mark. Now Mark, how's Zach finding it so far?
Yeah, he's sticking to the plan. He's got 3 fish now, 3 proper decent fish, so he's going to fish the waggler with an hour to go. He's going to try and come in short and then try and catch one down the edge. And the plan's going as we expected it would. We knew it was going to fish hard, so.
He definitely looks to be in kind of a more favourable position for the juniors though.
You'd take this peg, definitely. We were happy with this peg. Both ends or on the point were probably the preferred pegs today. So, but we're happy with this one.
Thanks very much.
Well, thanks, Anna. Those are the stars of the future here at FishOMania, taking part in the junior event. It's not bad, is it, taking home £1,000 pocket money when you're just a teenager. This is down on Sean Cook, isn't it?
Peg 4.
He's down there on peg 4, who was complaining at the start of the day that he didn't have enough space to fish, but I suspect that he's a happier man now. That noise in the background signals that we've had an hour of FishOMania 25, which means that any second now we are going to be having our weigh-in. He's going to want to know exactly what he's caught. Sean Cook, I think in a second or two, we might be able to go down and join Michael Bridge. Here is Michael.
Oh, the sun. It's so hot here, but the fish clearly love the heat. Sean Cook, actually, between pegs 1 and 6, they're all doing well here. We can't keep up at the moment. Let's hope we get a winner here between peg 1 and 6. Sean Cook here, he's having a great start to the day. As you said, Rob, he wasn't overly happy with where he was positioned, but he's smiling now, the local lad. Obviously, we are an hour in now as well. And as you can see here, we're getting ready for the weigh-in after an hour. So we're getting into it now. Here we go. I'm just going to move out the way here. Okay. Here we go.
Nice size fish, that.
Nice size, that.
Peg 4, Sean Cook, 3 kilo 150.
3 kilo 150. Let's go now to my colleague Tim Thornton on peg 23.
Yep, I'm with Ryan Lidgard and with his bank runner Keith, who's going to pull the net out, and we're going to weigh a big carp that he's managed to catch in the net. Here we go, that is an absolute beauty. Mark's on standby. On it goes.
6 kilos, 375 grams.
Wow, that is a big one. Right, let's head over to Jenna Brooks, who's on peg 7.
Thanks very much, Tim. That's right, peg 7 with Pete Black. Going to get Adam Rumble, his bank runner, to bring over the keep net. Now, Adam has told me he's a close friend of Pete's. They also used to work together in the tackle shop. But Adam has told me he's caught 3 fish. This is Pete Black, 2 carp, 1 brim. He's predicting it to weigh probably about 8.5 kilos. Altogether. Oh, that is a big carp there. Oh, wow. We'll bring it over on to the waist sling. And just a reminder, Pete is currently in 4th position.
Good weight, 9 kilos, 200.
Wow, 9 kilos, 200. Ben Ransom over at peg 15.
Yeah, well, Christophe Debussa here was second, just shy of 10 kilos after the first weigh-in. We're going to bring out his second half an hour now. It's been a bit up and down. There was a really quiet period just after we had the weigh-in last time around. Eric just bringing that across. And there was a slight change of tactics as well. We went to the rod, that didn't really pay off, so they went back to the pole and then straight away 2 in 2 minutes. So let's see what we've got second time around. So what are we on, 5?
No.
What we're going to see here, Eric?
1 kilo 300.
1 kilo 300 there for Christophe Debussa. You can see not quite the half hour he was hoping for, but the change to the pole certainly worked out in the end. So a few more fish on this side of the lake. Let's throw back, shall we? Off to Michael Bridge.
Peg 5, here we go. God, these are big.
Steve Openshaw, 9 kilo, 950.
Well, after our 2 weigh-ins so far, this is the way that it is panning out. Pete Black, one of our less experienced anglers here, only fishing for 6 years, 21 years of age, took it up as a teenager, and he angles for Maver Midlands. He's currently leading. It's a significant lead as well from Steve Openshaw, who's just a couple of pegs away on peg 5. It's, well, it's quite a contrast there because that's the youngest in Pete Black, and also I think the oldest in the competition as well, Steve Openshaw, who won't mind me saying that he's 57 years of age. Also giving us another angle is Christophe Debussa, who come over from Belgium, the first time that we've had a Belgian qualifier. One of the familiar faces, Andy Power, second last year, currently coming in 4th place. And what is a surprise at the moment is that in the top 8, we don't have the reigning champion and the bookies' favourite, Jamie Hughes. Jamie is down in 14th place. But I've said it before, we'll say it again, it was around 3 o'clock last year, the last 2 hours of FishOMania, that he came into his own. This is FishOMania 25, and they will be angling until just gone 5 o'clock. Stick with us. Previous years, it's been reasonably easy to predict where the fish are going to be, but today we have got absolutely no idea where they're going. They're heading off in all kinds of directions between the 24 pegs here at Hayfield Lake in South Yorkshire. So, the anglers who are leading are pegged all over the lake. Leading at the moment is Pete Black on peg 7. Not so far away, in 2nd place, is Steve Openshaw. They're kind of looking across the lake at Christophe Debussa from Belgium, who's on peg 15, and Andy Power is right in the corner on peg 22. Keith, make sense of it.
Well, just chatting to Cookie, as we were in the breaks now, we were looking round, and it's obvious they're in the ripple. Where the ripple is where the fish are, and that's, Steve explained the reason why. But the way the wind is blowing, you can see the wind's blowing across this way, and noticeable. Nathan Watson hasn't caught a fish. The wind is coming off his back, shoulder, yeah. And that makes such a big difference. Whereas down where the fish are, although it's coming off Nathan's back, he's in like at the edge of a bit of a bay. It's hitting the island, and it just seems to be coming around this way a little bit. There's a definite ripple coming from peg 9 heading this way.
Towards the corner of the wide corner of the island.
Yeah, really noticeable.
Down in fourth place, we do have an Englishman. That's not a particularly good omen. And this is Andy Power, who is much fancied. He was the closest man to Jamie Hughes last year at Cudmore.
What he's doing now, this method that he's fishing now with the pellet waggler, he is probably the best in the country at doing that. And we sometimes stalk him on a pellet waggler. Basically, you see a fish and you aim towards it. We have some little tiny wagglers and can really drop it right at the end of the nose. He's really superb at it. Very, very good.
You look at what he's done there. He's fed, cast into his feed. He's fed again short of his float and pulled the float back into that bit of feed so the pellet lands slowly, and then he's either had a bite or it's time for another cast. It's a really active, busy way of fishing. There's no rest. You're casting, feeding, non-stop.
He's always on his game. He doesn't make very many mistakes. I can remember actually seeing him in the UK Championship where he didn't draw very well, and he caught a few fish. He was actually at Lindown, and with an hour to go, he went and sat down his box, made himself a drink and just sat there, got some more gear out, some rigs out, started again and won it with over £100. And that's how confident he is. You know, he thinks about his fishing. He's a really top-class angler.
See the equipment that he's got there, Keith?
Yeah.
How much will he be invested in what he's brought here today?
Oh. Well, angling's really weird. You know, you can
Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah. you can start fishing, you can catch a load of fish on the tenders with the gear, including bait, no problem. All right, you need a bit more for a landing net and a mat, etc., etc. But Andy there will have his pole will be £3,000. He'll have several top kits to go with it, probably £4,000 in his pole bag. Every one of those rods and reels, the reels probably, I don't know what reel it is, but it's probably around £200. It's probably a quality reel. Cheaper reels work really well until you put them under a lot of pressure.
I know he'll have at least 2 top poles. 20 top kits in his bag, at least 20. So his pole bag alone will probably be worth 10,000.
Yeah.
In real terms.
Well, the noise that you heard in the background was the hooter, which means that we are due our third weigh-in of the afternoon.
It is really, really hot over here. I've been told that it's not great conditions for the anglers, perfect conditions for the spectators though. However, Pete Black might disagree. Your current leader, his bank runner Adam, has told me that he has caught another 2 carp. He's estimated around 5 kilos, so we will put them in the weigh sling and see if Adam is correct. And just an interesting fact for you, Pete and Richie Hull, who is on peg 9, are really good friends, and I've been told that if Pete or Richie win, they will be sharing the prize money. More on that in a minute, but let's see what Pete has weighed in at.
Today, Dale Whelan, peg 20, 0.
Stay still.
20, 0, thank you. Victor David. Ready.
5 kilos, 550.
So 5 kilos, 550, pretty close, Adam, his bank runner was. So Pete Black, is it enough to maintain that lead? Rob, back to you.
After 3 weigh-ins, Andy Power, who's the second favourite at the start of the event, is currently in 5th place. Our Belgian Christophe de Butter is in 4th. Steve Openshaw 3rd, Steve Ford in 6th, Pete Black in 7th. And you are beginning to get a picture of where the fish are this afternoon. Pegs 5, 6, 7 and 4 are hot, as are 22, 23 and 24. Now you can understand why the anglers were so keen to get a good draw on Friday night when their partners come along here and they take the peg number out of the bag on a Friday evening. That is very, very significant. You really don't want the pegs around 18, 20, 21. And you really don't want around 13 or 16. Or peg 1 for old Dave Romain, who's by the stopper. The winner today takes home £50,000. It used to be winner takes all, but we're kind now. We give the second place finisher 10,000 as well. Not a bad Saturday afternoon's work,
no,
is it? If young Pete there can take home 50 grand.
Exactly.
It looks like he's changing his tactics, Keith. It looks like he's going to have a go on the waggler now.
Well, this is Steve Ford, who qualified for FishOMania for the first time in 14 years. It was back in April at Woodland View near Droitwich.
He's fishing the bomb and pellet. he's fishing the bob pellet, which basically he's been feeding to catch on the pellet waggler, and some of those pellets eventually end up on the bottom, and quite often you'll just sit down there, mosey about and pick a few up, and he's picking them off like that. And it's another method that, when it's on its day, is unbeatable.
Steve Openshaw, our senior citizen this afternoon, the age of 57.
Well, no, he's on the method.
Yeah.
So he's obviously feeding those pellets to prime that waggler line. He's gone out on the method.
Yeah.
Now, the method's a great tactic when you don't want to introduce a lot of bait. You've got that little parcel of bait around the feeder, and you can cast it randomly. A lot of people want to cast it really accurately, but when fish get spooky, you're like fishing for one fish at a time, Stephen. You'll catch one there, and you'll cast 5 metres past it, or 5 metres short of it, or whatever, and you'll just hope for a bite, basically.
Let's go down to the man who is in second place. That's had a good half an hour, we're told, Steve Ford, who has Michael Bridge on his shoulder.
Well, he was scared of the scarecrow before we started, but Steve Ford, you're not scared anymore, because the island, where he is, number 6, is going well for him so far. So, Chris, off we go. We're going to go up here. What's on the board? Steve Ford.
£2 kilos 625.
2 kilos 625. Right, great stuff so far for Steve Ford, and I'll throw you now to Jenna Brooks.
Yeah, thanks, Bridgie. Pete Black, of course, your current leader, has caught another 2 fish. Adam, if we can bring them over. Again, Adam's been pretty spot on with his predictions of what they're weighing. He has predicted about 5.5 kilos, these two together. So again, we'll see. Now, last weigh-in, I did mention how Richie and Pete are very good friends, and they're going to share the prize money. So I believe if Pete wins, he's going to give Richie £5,000 and vice versa. So Richie must be feeling pretty happy as the fish go on the scales.
7 kilos 125.
7 kilos 125, a great weight for your current leader. Tim, over to you.
Yeah, I'm with Andy Power, who's currently in 5th position. So when it goes, we've got two decent sized fish in that. They're going to go on the scales now. Let's see.
And they are... Just give it a second. 5 kilos 825.
Pete Black, who is currently leading. Pete is right there in the midst of all of the anglers on peg 7. Pete, you've dreamt of getting in the FishOMania final, and if you do, well, the downside is that you have to speak to us. So let's get inside your mind. Look at the smile on your face. What a brilliant start to the afternoon. Great question to ask you. Why is it going so well?
I don't know. I think there was just some fish here, and I've made the most of it, I hope.
Are they moving around a lot, Pete?
Yeah, keep swimming in and out the peg. You get 2 or 3 and then nothing for 10 minutes.
Is it the ripple that's doing it, or do you just think they're just a bit spooky?
I think it's the ripple more than anything, yeah.
Are they backed further off now? That's why you're on your pellet waggler, Pete?
Yeah, they've backed off to the wag. I've had a couple, but the wind's making it really hard to present it.
That's one thing about the pellet waggler. You want the ripple, but you don't want it blowing your float around, do you? Because the last thing you want is your float moving.
That's the problem.
Well, you've just got to keep plugging away doing what you're doing. You're in the lead. It's just a matter now you keep adding an odd fish every now and again and keeping yourself in front, keeping your nose in front.
Yeah, well, I said to my bank runner, if it gets 2 fish every half hour, they'd be there or thereabouts.
Pete is way out in the lead at the moment, a 9.175 kilos difference, a total weight so far of just under 30 kilos. This is peg 4. This is Sean Cook.
So Sean Cook keeping his rod low there. He's trying to encourage that fish to come closer to the surface, and then hopefully what he'll do, he'll throw the rod up very high and net it as quickly as he can. Because if you get the rod up high too early, those fish are down there in the depths. They're a nightmare to get up.
The more you try to pull up, the first
they go down.
They try to pull down.
Oh, it's come off.
Another nice fish.
Yeah. They're all nice fish. The horrible fish are the ones that come off.
Yeah. but there's still a long way to go in this competition.
Oh, it's by no means. Nowhere near is it all over.
Let's go down to, I think it's peg 10, where there's a lot of activity, and Jenna Brooks is down there.
Yeah, there certainly is. I am with Scott Gollings, and he just had a fish on, but he lost it. He has one carp at the moment, where I'm told by his bank runner, Chris Mack, a good friend of his, they've been fishing together for about 6 years. He thinks it'll weigh about 1.5 to 2 kilos. Just a reminder, Scott Gollings is currently in 5th position. He's 14.7 kilos.
2 kilos 500.
2 kilos 500 for Scott Gollings on peg 10. Tim, over to you.
Yeah, here we are with Andy on peg 22. Near, there's a big one in there. Let's see just how big it is. And it goes. John's on weighing duties here. What have we got, John?
We have got 4 kilo 650 grams.
Okay, so that keeps him very much in contention. Let's go across the lake.
Yeah, thanks very much. We are back at peg 7 with Pete Black, your current leader. Literally a couple of minutes ago, he pulled in a nice looking carp. So we're going to put it on the scales. It's been a pretty quiet half hour for Pete. I don't know whether it was the luck of the studio chatting to him or not, but thankfully he has pulled in a nice size. So Pete currently has the lead as we put the fish on the scales.
Mark, David, pigs 20 and 21 over 0. Over.
2 kilos 825.
2 kilos 825 to add on to the tally of your current leader, Pete Black. Back to you, Rob.
Well, at the last weigh-in, Pete Black was leading by, what was it, 8 to 9 kilos, but there's a lot of activity. The winds are changing around Hayfield. The camera's focusing in there on Steve Openshaw, down on peg 5, the oldest competitor in FishOMania. Still 12 kilos behind the early leader, Pete Black. Pete the youngest, Steve the oldest. There's a 36-year difference in their ages between the two of them, but there are a few coming up on the outside now and giving Pete Black a bit of trouble, especially Andy Power. A lot of wise men have been backing Andy Power to potentially be the champion of 2018. Jamie Hughes, well, he was hoping to make it back-to-back. Nobody's ever won it back-to-back. Nobody had won it 3 times until Jamie Hughes last year, but it's looking odds against him at the moment as he's down there in 16th place. 16th place previously would have been last place, but now there are 24 anglers from 24 different qualifiers all around the UK, one in Germany, one in Belgium as well, and our heart goes out at the moment to poor old Daniel Squire, who's in last place. But at least everybody's caught something this year. Year 25 of FishOMania, and it is like a fun fair has come to town. We are back here after a decade away at Hayfield Lakes in Doncaster. This beautiful lake looks as though it's an act of nature, but it's actually man-made. Keith will tell us a little bit more about that this afternoon, but perfect for FishOMania. Now, Pete Black thinks that because he's leading, but, well, he is aware now because we've just told him, but Andy Power, one of the star anglers, a full-time angler, caught this fish recently, and that has thrown him up into 2nd place.
That was a great effort as well, because as soon as that fish's head popped up, he was ready to land in that. If he'd have missed it then, it could be another 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes.
And he's so proficient.
Yeah.
So proficient.
Does the leader come from that top 8?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Nobody outside of the top 8? No?
No.
If I was telling you that and you were fishing, would you believe me?
No.
And would you
never
care?
give in.
No.
You never give in. You can't. You can't. If I were a gambling man, Andy'd be better.
Really?
Yeah, because this is what he does. His temperament's really superb. and he's cool and calm and collected, always, no matter how big the event is. But what he's doing is his favourite method, and he's so good at it. He's so good at it, and it's working.
This is Andy Power over there on peg 22 in the corner, a couple of pegs away from the end of the lake. He had a very quiet third half an hour, but the other quarters he's been consistent.
Yes, and you hope for consistency. You know, you just said about everyone in the top 8. If you're not doing very well and the people around you aren't doing very well, then the writing is pretty much on the wall. But if you're close to L8, those fish have only got to move a yard or two. And, you know, they're in your peg then. But the fish are in little clusters. They're definitely on that 5, 6 and 7. That is the epicentre.
5, 6, 7 is a place. This place is renowned for being a good area, and that's where the fish generally want to live and generally want to be. What's affecting them more than anything is no ripple. That's because their fish have been mainly caught on the pole shallow, and when there's no ripple, the fish back off. They're not catching them on the pellet waggler, but the guy who's catching them, Andy Power, is so good at it, and he keeps nicking an odd fish. So he'll keep closing that up, but there's still a long way to go.
And it may have been a prediction, but there was Steve Ford, who we saw in Andy Power's frame, and there's Steve Ford with big fish.
Yeah.
He's a bit happier now. He's been getting happier every 10 minutes. So they're a classic example of how the puller works, where you just tighten up that elastic. So you just put that little bit more pressure on the fish, and you can really jerk it at this end because these elastics are so stretchy. I mean, some of them stretch 12 times their original length. Yeah. It puts minimal extra pressure on that fish, but it just stops it from going too far.
But there's been a major move forward to having shorter top kits, doing the exactly same thing, but probably 3 foot shorter. And you've got less elastic in, but one of the beauties of them are, you pull your fish back, strip the elastic, when you lift up, it's there. It's there, so you can scoop it. It's not out there, so you can scoop them in really quickly. So a lot of people have negated length for the quickness that you can actually land your fish with a shorter top kit.
It's another 4 kilo plus fish, that is.
Yeah.
There is Pete with his elastic arms. This could increase his lead of FishOMania 25.
His runner's afraid the fish is going to come off and the pole float's going to go back and give him a whack.
You wouldn't have him in the slips, that fellow, would you?
No.
You got to have faith. You got to have faith. He's
protecting all parts of his body.
You wouldn't want him in them all either, would you? That's a penalty. Good skill.
It's magnificent.
Good patience, good skill, that.
Yeah.
Steve will be desperate to find out exactly what he's got in that bag. He's currently just behind Andy Power, who is in second place. Last time Andy Power heard the klaxon behind him, it was music to his ears. Will it be this time? We're preparing our reporters around the lake to get down there with the bank runners to see how they're doing. First of all, let's go down to the water's edge, and we're making Jenna Brooks work very hard.
I don't think I'm working as hard as this young man here, 21 years old, Pete Black. He has caught another fish. It has slowed down a little bit here, but let's put this big carp on and see what we have.
2 kilos, 225.
2 kilos, 225 for Pete Black, the current leader. That is not bad at all. Bridgie, over to you.
Thanks, Jenna. Yes, Steve Ford here is picking up here, as you say. 5, 6 and 7. It's been busy all day, hasn't it? I'm going to get right into it now. There's 2 here. 3. Goodness me, and they are heavy. Let me just go around here. Oh.
9 kilos dead.
9 kilos dead. Right, let's go straight now to peg 22.
In it goes, just on the tails of the leader at the moment is Andy. Perfect position for him. And let's find out what this one weighs. Mark is the man on the scales.
2 kilos, 275.
So another one for Andy. Happy with that, Neil?
Yes, yeah, as long as we keep popping a fish or 2 in the net, hopefully we'll get the odd bonus fish. Yeah, should get better towards the end as well, hopefully.
Okay, brilliant. So on track at peg 22.
So this is how the land lies in Doncaster. after 6 weigh-ins. Remember, we weigh the fish every half an hour. The cumulative weight at the end of the day is the winner. The best so far is Pete Black, who's top of the table, just under 32 kilos. Second, Steve Ford, just under 27 kilos. And in third place is Andy Power. But that is the man who is dreaming of £50,000 and maybe, more importantly, for an angler, the trophy that you get and the prestige of winning FishOMania.
Absolutely.
Over there on peg 18, Adam Richards from Easingwold in Yorkshire, currently in 20th position. I think he's just here for the experience and enjoying the afternoon. The total weight so far of 4.5 kilos for Adam. But he has caught something this afternoon. Now, that isn't one he prepared, is it?
That's when your tip goes round when you're doing that.
This is breaking news. My sources tell me, Sky sources tell me, that one of the officials has come down and had a word with Steve Openshaw for using elasticated feed, which may not be within the rules of today's competition.
Elasticated feeders, I believe, aren't allowed to be used here. And what that is, it's a fixed feeder where you unclip your feed and clip it back on. It's got elasticated in the middle, so if you break off on your main line, on your reel line, that feeder is then dragged about by the fish. So here they insist that they are what we call inline, where your line goes through the centre of the feeder, a stop at the other side, and then the up length.
Right, Alan, obviously a bit of a shock here. Can you just explain what's going on?
The steward's come up and he's just said elasticated feeders are banned. Well, Steve didn't know. Well, obviously he should have looked at the rules or whatever, but he said a lot of people use them in practice when he's been here before, and he just thought they were allowed. So he's just been on an elasticated like that. But he's supposed to be on an inline one.
But what is the advantage for using?
There's no advantage really. No advantage really. Yeah. It's easier to change probably if it's got an elastic. You can just clip them on and clip them off. You know, because you've got the hook. Yeah. When you're catching fish, if they're inline, you've got to rebait the same one all the time, and it takes a few more minutes.
Okay, so what have you been told? Are they going to come back? Are they making a decision?
He's making a decision, yeah. The steward's making a decision.
Okay, and so in your eyes, it hasn't really affected, it hasn't given him any advantage?
No, it doesn't make no odds to the fishing, but, you know, doesn't help you get any more fish using elasticated. It's just some fishery welfare, do you know what I mean? Some fisheries allow inline and some allow elastics.
But... Okay, well, I know it's been a tough few minutes, so thank you very much for joining us. Back to you, Keith and Rob.
Thank you, Michael. We are awaiting the steward's inquiry. And this is Andy Power, who's currently in third place. Wow. He'll be happy with that.
That's a 4 kilo fish, isn't it?
That's another 4 kilo fish, yeah. And there he is now with 28 kilo.
I did say you wouldn't want Andy Power behind you.
No, you wouldn't. You don't want him on your tail. Definitely don't.
4 kilos.
That's a good 4 kilos.
4 kilos is what he finished behind Jamie last year. This is a young man who's got lake water in his veins. Yeah. Oliver Scotthorne, son of 5-time world champion Alan. His stepmom Sandra's competing in the ladies event. It's a whole family affair today. He's been brought up with this as well. He was destined for this, wasn't he? Mr. Hooter takes me off. That noise you can hear in the background signifies that we are due the 7th weigh-in of the afternoon. We started at 12:05. We finished the last weigh-in at around 5:05. We have a weigh-in every 30 minutes. We find out exactly who is doing what. Let's go down. Pegs 7 to 12 have been covered by Jenna Brooks.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. I'm actually on peg 9 now with Richie Hull, who has got quite a few big fish. In fact, one of them he just pulled in. When he pulled it in, he broke his landing pole. So I dare say this is going to be quite a good weigh-in.
This one's it. 6 kilos, 625.
6 kilos, 625. So not a bad weigh-in at all. Ben, over to you on peg 15.
It's been another fairly bleak half an hour, I think, for Christoph, I'm afraid to say, because he was right at the top of the leaderboard early on. It was a sensational start, but things over this side of the lake have just really quietened down, and we're going to try and get a bit of an idea why that's been. I mean, look, there you go. That's kind of sums up Christoph's last couple of hours. Eric, you're his You're his bank man.
Yes.
What is it about this side of the lake? What's happened?
I don't know. The fish is not feeding here anymore. You see some fish cruising. We tried to catch some fish in the short line. We've caught 2 quite big fish.
Yeah.
And after that, they died. They went out and don't seem to catch them anymore.
Because I've seen Christoph trying all sorts of different ways to try and get them to come back.
Of getting them catch a few fish. Unfortunately, it doesn't work. Fish is gone here.
Let's move a little bit further along the bank and we can join Tim Thornton.
Yeah, as you can see, Andy Power, peg 22. He certainly is going pretty well, has been throughout the course of the afternoon. Neil McKinnon, former FishO champion, is going to get the fish for us. I think there's one in the net at the moment. He has been so consistent today that they've got a definite game plan here and it's been really well executed. So they're happy. They feel as though they're in the right place and in a really good position going into the final 90 minutes or so. Right, let's see what's happening here then. Well, it's a decent size, Neil.
Yeah, it's a beauty, that one. I reckon that one's about 4 kilo, but we'll see. 4 and a bit kilo, maybe.
Here we go, John.
We've got 4 kilo, 550 grams.
Okay, thank you very much, guys. Now we've got a bit of controversy this afternoon and a bit of breaking news. Michael Bridge can bring us an update. Michael.
Yes, so obviously we've been hearing from Keith and Rob about Steve Openshaw's potential disqualification, but the show goes on at the moment and we're going to just check what he's got here. As I say, the show is going on. He's had such a good afternoon. 3 are in the net here. Yep, will do. Let's get the review.
6 kilo and 50 grams.
650. Right. While I've got you, Mike, explain the problem we have here.
Well, it's been reported that Steve's using a fixed feeder, and that's not allowed in the rules. That's because if the line breaks, the feeder stays with the hook, and if a fish takes it, it's dragging a feed around for the rest of its life. So that's why they're generally not allowed.
What action do you think will be taken?
We'll inspect the feeder system he's been using. If it's confirmed that it's fixed, then he'll be disqualified, sadly.
Well, I mean, it just seems so tough on him, but is it something we should have read up on?
Yes, it's clearly in the rules, and it's there to protect the fish. You've got to remember that first and foremost. It's there to protect the fish.
Yeah, he's had such a good afternoon so far, but rules
we
are
hate
rules.
doing it, but
yep.
rules are rules.
Rules
yeah.
are rules. Well, Mike,
It's
thank
really
you very
simple.
much. Appreciate it. Jenna, over to you.
Yeah, thanks very much, Bridgie. As you can see by the state of my hair, the wind has really picked up this side of the lake, which I'm told it's not a great thing for the anglers over this side. And of course, Pete Black, our current leader, he has managed to pull in 1 carp, I believe. Again, probably around 3.5 kilos, so not a bad effort for this 7th weigh-in of the day. We are getting towards the end of FishOMania 2018. As the excitement builds, we'll just see what this one weighs.
Peg 23, 2 kilos, 100.
3 kilos, 500.
So 3.5 kilos, again, not bad for Pete Black, who is your current leader. Rob, back to you.
Concentrate the cameras now on Pete Black, who is leading. He's just dreaming of the trophy and £50,000. We are approaching the final hour of FishOMania 25. At the moment, it's Pete Black who's going to be taking home the £50,000 winner. Takes the top prize. Second place is Andy Power. He could be £10,000 richer as well. But Steve Ford is very close to him. We're a little uncertain of Steve Openshaw. There is a rulings meeting taking place behind the scenes to see whether he has infringed the rules. The lads were saying before it could be any one of the top 8. I think now it could be any one of the top 4, possibly maybe just one of the top two. Andy Power has got an hour to catch up with the current leader, Pete Black. He needs to catch some fish, but he is.
And he is probably going to continue to catch them as well.
He has 3.5 minutes to the next weigh-in. Well, that's how the senior statesmen are doing here at FishOMania. There are other events going on. There is the ladies' competition, the best 6 ladies, and also the best 6 juniors in the UK. That started at 11 o'clock. It's just finished. Let's find out which kid is £1,000 richer.
So it's all over at the junior match, and Miles Fletcher is our FishOMania junior champion. Big cheer for that. Miles, congratulations. You won with almost 6 kilos. Just sum up your afternoon for us.
Well, I've had a steady start, and then it slowed down towards the end, and I've struggled catching them little cress here. That's about it.
But you had 3 fairly decent sized carp early on, didn't you, which set you up quite well?
Yeah, they were about £6 each. So
you look like you haven't really taken it in yet. No. Who have you had helping you this afternoon?
Joe, Carterell and Will Hawkins.
They've been good bank runners for you?
Yeah, they've been smashing, yeah.
£1,000 you've just won. What are you going to do with that?
Well, I'm splitting some with Danny and then put it towards a car or something. I'm not sure.
How very sensible. Well, congratulations.
Cheers.
Make sure you do some celebrating. You've earned it.
Yeah, cheers.
Thanks, Anna. As she would say, he's probably a game changer. Miles Fletcher winning the junior event, and it is quite a considerable win as well over Zach Warby-Smith. And that's going to be a picture which he's going to be proud of for the rest of his life. Let's get down to the waters side and our Lady of the Lake, Jenna Brooks.
Thanks very much, Rob. Yeah, welcome back to Peg 10 with Scott Gollings. I understand that he has had another good half an hour. Chris, if we can grab his fish and bring them over, we'll weigh them in. And just a reminder, Scott is currently in 5th place. He is roughly around 17 kilos off your leader, Pete Black, who is on Peg 7, another one of my anglers. But it looks like Scott may have been a quiet angler here today. He's slowly climbing that leaderboard as the fish go onto the scales.
3 kilos, 225.
Well, Neil, I think he's going to get the net for us. And every weigh-in, Andy Power, he's delivering something. And we've got something else again here. Let's see what it is. Currently in 2nd position, of course. In it goes. What are you predicting here?
Just under 4 kilo.
Okay, let's find out.
We've got 3 kilo, 475 grams.
Okay, so very much in contention. Let's go across the lake and join Jenna Brooks.
I'm told Pete has had another decent half hour. Of course, last weigh-in, the gap was closed a little bit. He does have over a 7 kilogram lead over Andy Power, who is over on Peg 22. Let me just come over here to Andre.
That's a good weight. 7 kilos, 875.
That is a very decent half hour. 7 kilos, 875. Just quickly, I'm going to grab Adam, who is Pete's bank runner. Now, Adam, you're a very good friend of Pete. What kind of advice are you giving him today? He's obviously the leader at the moment.
Yeah, just to stay calm, really. I mean, this last hour, he's really got to just keep his nerves and just hope he's got plenty in the tank left.
Right, we're back with Steve Ford. Let's go, let's go. We're getting to the nitty-gritty now, aren't we? I told you that scarecrow, he wouldn't put off Steve, despite him staring at him all afternoon. But Steve, in Peg 6, he's really enjoyed that peg today, and it's worked out well for him so far. We are getting near to the final stages. Here we go. He's currently in 3rd, remember. Go on, Mike, give us the good news.
4 kilo, 275.
4 kilo, 275. Steve Ford, it's not over yet. He's still fighting for this title. Back to you, Rob.
Thank you, Michael. Well, both Steve Ford and Andy Power had a decent half an hour there. Andy Power with just under 3.5 kilos. Steve, as you just saw there, will be very happy with his catch as well. But the problem for those two guys is that Pete Black, who was at the top of the leaderboard with a considerable lead just before that weigh-in, has increased it 7.875 kilos in the net in the last half an hour. It looks like that trophy may be heading to Kings Norton. Well, after 10 years, FishOMania has come back to Yorkshire. 24 anglers from all around the UK, Germany and Belgium as well, and it comes down really to these 4 gentlemen who could win the title, take home the £50,000, 10 grand for second place as well. At the moment, they have to catch up with Pete Black, who's gone into a sprint at the front. He has a lead of 11.5 kilos from Andy Powell. Vastly experienced and much fancied as well. In third place is Steve Ford, who had a decent catch of 4.275 kilos. He needs an hour of fishing like that, and Pete to catch nothing if he is going to be in the money. Well, that is the men's event. The ladies' event has just finished on the adjoining lake. We've got some wonderful competitors here today, and it's been very tight over there. Let's find out how it all finished with Hannah Wilkes.
It was looking like a tight competition the whole way through the ladies' match, and in the end, Kaylee Smith has sealed it for the second year in a row. Our reigning champ defends the title, and you needed 10 kilos from your second bag at the weigh-in, and you got 13. What an incredible haul!
I've had a big fish with like 15-20 minutes to go that's probably been 12-13 pounds, so that one's definitely won me it. Feel a bit sorry for Emma. She's lost one with about the same time we had them on round the foot plate, which would have probably put her in front and let her beat me, but I'm not that sorry. It's like
And it was quite a slow start for you this afternoon, wasn't it? This end of the lake really wasn't fishing that well.
I went out, and within the first half hour I've had one, so I thought it might be all right, but then it's just died and not been able to get any fish. I have fed down the edge, and luckily I've had 4 bigger carp down there. I've had to wait for them. I've lost a couple of foul lookers, but it's the way it goes, and luckily big uns feed down edge, and I've managed to get a couple of bigger ones, and that's fun with it, yeah.
Now, not many people have defended a FishOMania title. We're just checking whether the ladies have, because certainly no one has in the grand final. How do you feel having successfully defended the crown?
Yeah, I've had a good year, and hopefully it'll continue. I've got Ladies National next week, so I'll be in it again next year if I qualify for that. But defending a title, I didn't think I'd be able to do it on a venue like this with it being carp. I prefer F1 fishing, but it just shows you've got to be in it to win it. As long as you're there, you can win, basically, yeah.
Well, you certainly can. Yeah. Congratulations, Kaylee.
Yeah.
And look at that, a picture of absolute beauty. Not just the biggest fish caught in the ladies' competition, but possibly the biggest fish we're going to see here all afternoon, Keith.
It's a proper fish. It looks bigger because Kaylee's not very big. But look, we were just talking to Cookie, and so she throws a 16-metre pole around like nobody's business. She's a very, very good angler.
That is Steve Openshaw, who is a picture of patience. Maybe his best chance is moving from 4th place into 2nd place. We have more breaking news here on the FishOMania, and that breaking news is that he will not be disqualified. Well, they say football's coming home. Well, fishing isn't going to be going home, because the trophy has resided in the home of Jamie Hughes on the Wirral for the last 12 months. He is our reigning champion. He's won it on 3 occasions. I mean, they could build a statue to him because he's been in the final 7 times in a row, but it's not going to be this year because poor old Jamie drew a peg he didn't like, peg 21. He was the 3-to-1 favourite, and he is just playing for pride now, basically, as we enter the final straight. He hasn't made the top 8. In truth, it is going to be down, well, for the money, to the top 4. Steve Openshaw, we know, is in it now after the ruling was made about the allegation of infringing a rule. Pete Black is way out, 11.5 kilo lead at the moment. Andy Power in second place. If anybody can catch him, it's going to be Andy. But Steve Openshaw is back in the race. Gets a couple of big fish. He could be £10,000 richer, because that is what you take home for second place. At the moment, the money is going to, in second place, Andy Power, £10,000 to second place. The total bag so far of just under 32 kilos. Every time we catch him on camera, he's got a different way of landing a fish.
Yeah. He's stood up to. He knows now he needs to put some power on him, so he's actually pressurising his fish. He's standing up to get him in really quick.
Longer reach with a landing net.
Longer reach with a landing net and a quick scoop, because he knows time's running out. He needs to start pulling him back. I think he's got 3 fish in his net now, so
is he?
I believe so.
The bad news for him is that on peg 7, Pete Black is also catching.
Yeah.
And he's our runaway leader.
Yeah. No, fair play to him. He's a young lad. He's come with all the I'm going to win it attitude. I'm where I want to be, and he's stuck to it. He's fished really well. Look, you see there, look, a big blow.
The noise you hear will be music to his ears. It means we're into the final straight, the final 30 minutes of FishOMania 25. The youngest competitor, Pete Black, 21 years of age, is leading. He has been capturing the attention all afternoon of Jenna Brooks.
Yeah, that's right. Welcome back here to Peg 7 with Pete Black. Now, he told me yesterday that he was going to win this event. Well, he just might. He has caught another carp, I'm told, around 2.5 kilos. Now, he has an 11.5 kilogram lead over Andy Power, who is over on peg 22. He's been using the same technique all day long, and it really has been working for him. He's been fishing pellets shallow. And we'll find out what this fairly large carp weighs.
2 kilos, 475.
2 kilos, 475. So, Adam, his bank runner almost spot on. Rob, back to you.
Thank you, Jenna. Well, he is so close to taking the title. The nearest competitor is over on the other side of the lake on peg 22, Andy Power. And behind him is a whole team, but also Tim Thornton.
What have we got, John?
We've got 3 kilo, 575.
3 kilo, 575. So still playing catch up, still with a bit of work to do, but still with time. Let's head over to peg 5 now. And Michael Bridge.
And here we go with the latest weigh-in. And Steve Openshaw, although he's been quite dismissive, he's not out of a top 3 finish. Let's have a listen. Let's have a see the weight.
2.725.
2.725 for Steve Openshaw. So remember, Steve Openshaw has not been disqualified. Back to you, Rob.
Right, these are the serious minds. 4th place, Steve Openshaw, back in the competition. At one point, he thought he was disqualified. Credit to him, he didn't pack up his stuff. He could have possibly kind of put everything in the bag, got in the van, gone home, beat the traffic, and left everybody behind. But he's a great sport, decided to stick around. The rules officials, in the views of our experts, reached a positive and the right decision. He's still in the frame in 4th place on 28.75.
Andy Power's just put 3.5, 4 kilos in his net as well. So he's, you know, I haven't seen Pete catch.
Pete's got one now.
Hey, Peter, there's just cooked a fish, look at that. You can't get away from him,
no,
can you?
One Andy comes at him,
yeah.
He fights back. So credit to him, like where credit's due. He's made it his match, to be fair.
And he's kept it on that same line all day. He's done the same thing. He could have set up one rig.
Yeah.
The great thing is, as well, as you say, you've done a wonderful job over the last quarter of a century in promoting this sport and taking it out there to the masses and the next generation. People sometimes say, oh yeah, fishing, it's an old man's sport. This lad is 21 years of age. He only took up fishing in his mid-teens, and he lives it. He probably had the dream of this moment last night, and he has got, well, nerves of ice, hasn't he?
To a young lad like that, this could completely change his life. When you think about it, to win this competition as big as it is, and I know he hasn't won it yet, but to actually win it, to win the money, well, £50,000, he could make a decision to be a full-time fisherman and fish the rest of his life.
Just capturing there, Steve Ford, who is in 3rd place. The battle now may be for 2nd place.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I think it is, if truth be known. You know, when you think Barry Earn came up with this idea for this, what a wonderful genius stroke it's been, really, for fishing.
It's unbelievable.
Well, Steve Ford is aiming for second place. OK, the £50,000 may be out of his reach, but he has got his eyes trained on Andy Power. Well, the seconds are ticking down, the clock is ticking down, and we are very close to a new name on the trophy. He could just
he's got a fish on.
He has, hasn't he?
He's dead. Actually pulled it back really quick. That's what he's done. Now he's, you know, somebody must be counting him down how long he's got, and he's going to pull the elastic back as hard as he can to get it so it's in netting distance, and then make a decision when to actually go for it.
Back in 1999, you needed to catch a fish like this to win FishOMania. For him,
very similar.
It's just pride, and he's setting himself a little target
Awesome.
here. He's got 10 seconds to land this fish. It means
awesome.
nothing other than the weight he's going to set, and he's got it in, and he has proven that he is a worthy champion.
Unbelievable.
Stand up, be loud, and be proud, Pete Black, because your name is on the trophy, and they are writing the cheque for £50,000 to you, my son.
That was a class act.
That was class. Really was class.
Right, let's dot the I's, cross the T's, and go down for the final weigh-in and hear from Jenna Brooks.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. Peg 10, Scott Gollings has had a very busy half hour. He's, of course, in 5th position. He would love to climb that leaderboard into 2nd place. I don't think he's going to catch Pete Black, but he'd definitely like to climb into that 2nd place and, of course, take home that £10,000 prize money. But we'll put the fish on the scale and get confirmation of what.
Mark today. 19, 20,
4 kilos, 250.
4 kilos, 250. Is it enough for Scott to climb into 2nd place?
325. Repeat that again, please.
5325.
5325. Wow. Steve Ford. Steve, you got a sec? Now, Steve, right, admit it now. You were scared of that guy over there, weren't you?
I was.
Yeah? Yeah.
I've seen him move all day.
You haven't seen him move all day? No, just staring right at you. But I mean, you were happy with the peg in the end, though, weren't you?
I was, and I did. To be honest, I've been thinking for weeks this peg would dry up because it's so narrow. I think the fish back off down the sides. I think that's what's happened.
All in all, you've enjoyed it?
Yeah, I have. I've worked hard, and I've got no regrets. We filled it in with pellets at one stage to try and make it work, and it didn't work. So. Normally, if they turn up on it, it would have been game over, but it wasn't to be.
Well, we are going to get the final table very shortly, but everyone, Steve Ford.
20 seconds.
Thank you, Michael. Well, momentarily, maybe, he does move into 2nd place after that weigh-in, but that is because we haven't seen what Andy Power has in the bag. Let's go down to the area of peg 22, where I believe Tim Thornton is poised.
I am poised, and the guys are poised behind me as well, because they want to know as well, have we got 2nd place? They're asking me if we've got 2nd place. Well, we'll find out, because Neil is going to pull the net out of the water, and they need more than 1.5 kilos. Have you got more than 1.5 kilos in there, do you think?
I think so. I can't remember how big it was. I think it's just one fish. Yeah, definitely.
Well, if it is, you finished in 2nd place, so let's find out. Neil's dragging it over. Let's see. Yeah, that looks quite a big one to me.
3.5 kilos.
3.5, he says. Let's find out. Mark, what do you reckon?
3 kilos, 800 grams.
3 kilos, 800 grams. Confirmed, you are the runner-up of FishOMania 2018. 10 grand. How are you feeling?
Yeah, thank you very much. 2nd again, 2 years running. Well happy for Pete. He's a nice lad and deserves to win. But to come 2nd from here, I'm happy with that, really.
Is there a little bit of disappointment because you were on his tail, but he just kept pulling away?
Yeah, I needed a good run in the last hour, but I think the wind just got up and the fish sort of followed it a little bit, and I struggled at the end. But you know, I'm happy with that result. I don't think I could have won. So yeah.
Always next year?
Yeah, always next year. Try again.
We know that Pete is the champion. We just don't know exactly what his catch has been during the course of the day. We can probably go down now and make it official.
We will do the final weigh-in for this year's FishOMania champion.
Final weigh-in is 5 kilos,
525.
So there you go, over 50 kilograms. Pete, come here. It's almost time. Get rid of your phone. You are going to go into the lake, but first, I mean, you told me yesterday that you're going to win it, and look at you now.
Just make it confident. You've got to be, you're fishing it for like a massive amount of money. There's no point sitting down on your peg thinking, oh, I've drew next to so-and-so and they're going to beat me. So
we are going to get on to the £50,000 in just a moment, but just sum up your emotions.
Can't really say, to be honest. It's a dream to win one of these matches, and we've been putting in a lot of hard work in the last few weeks, and it's paid off.
And you pretty much did it using the same technique all day long, right?
Yeah, I think mid-match I lost my way a bit, went on the waggler, never really caught a few. And then I said to Adam, I said, if I'm going to win this, I'm just going to carry on catching the pole. And I went in and had one first chuck and just stayed on that then for the rest of the match.
Well, I spoke to your mum briefly. She was in tears. She's very proud. She did tell me earlier that you would never crack under pressure, and you certainly didn't today.
It was close. It was close, but you just got to keep your head, haven't you? And it's a fishing match at the end of the day. All these people here are good enough to win, so you just got to enjoy the day.
You're 21 years old. You've got to be the youngest FishOMania champion.
Probably, yeah. Probably, I think. I don't know for sure, but I'll probably be one of the youngest anyway that's ever won it.
Okay, £50,000. How are you going to spend it?
I enjoy quite a bit of it and probably look at buying a house, to be honest.
Very sensible. I also know that you owe your good mate Richie Hull $5,000.
Yeah, so we're going to have a good night out for that.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations. You know what to do now. Take it away.
Pete Black, who in more ways than one has made a big splash around here.
He certainly has.
Full credit to the lad. Yeah, full credit. You know, he's come here, said what he was going to do, and he showed everybody he meant it this morning. I think, you know, we have to hold our hands up with him and say, you know, you've done a major job.
Let's just tie things up and confirm what has been won this afternoon. Miles Fletcher, I think he's just 15, was he 16 years of age, £1,000 richer. He is the junior champion 2018. The ladies champion is Kaylee Smith, £1,000, and that was a tough competition, but she got the biggest fish of anybody here in Yorkshire today. Runner-up, Andy Power, the professional match angler, second last year, second again this year. Eventually, though, he was 12 kilos behind the winner, Pete Black. And Pete Black wins £50,000 and the trophy, and greatness is bestowed upon him as well. He's the FishOMania 25 champion.
A very worthy win.
So this is how it has all panned out today. Oliver Scott, another one of the younger competitors, finished in 8th place. Jason Brown, isn't that the guy I had in this sweep? Well, he made the top 7. I win nothing for that. Steve Openshaw, a very creditable 5th place after he was distracted. He thought he was going to be disqualified at one point. Scott Gollins finished very strongly. Steve Ford gave the two guys ahead of him quite a match this afternoon. Andy Power was the nearest competitor to Pete Black, but Pete Black was head and shoulders above the rest of the field. Let's go to our Master of Ceremonies to make things official.
Ladies and gentlemen, history has been made in his first ever FishOMania tournament with a size of 51.350, the youngest ever FishOMania champion, Pete Black!
Well, the sun is shining over Yorkshire, but nothing is beaming as much as the face of young Pete Black, the youngest contestant, the youngest ever winner of FishOMania. His name's on the trophy, his name is on the check, he's going to be swimming in champagne this evening, but what matters most is being the winner of FishOMania, and Keith Arthur having that prestige.
He's given the champagne to an experienced man to open it, you see that? Probably go for the sun at a time or two. Yeah, he won't believe it, even though he's got the check in his hand. This won't sink in, probably more than lemonade there as well, until long after he's gone home.
It's been a brilliant afternoon, hasn't it? And his name is going to go down. It's been one of the great performances.
It has, definitely, without question. He's caught big fish and he's caught them well.
We said we didn't want an angler to run away with it. It didn't really happen. He got a bit of a lead and he's maintained his lead, and it's been one brilliant match today.
Well, he's down there. He's hugging the trophy. He's posing for so many photographs. People with the cameras poised upon him. He's had, how many cameras we've got here today? 30-odd cameras, all trained. And they've all been trained on Pete Black, 21 years of age. During the week, he's an assistant in a tackle shop. In 2018, at FishOMania, we have a new face of fishing, and that face is Peter Black.